All right, hello everybody. My name is Eddie Falcon. I'm the vice president of the Iraq Veterans Against the War chapter in San Francisco. I just happened to be out here studying in Spain, in Madrid, and heard this was going on, so I thought I'd show up. So here I am. Okay, first of all, I guess I'll just give you a brief background about how I got into the military and things like that. Just wait for folks to quiet down a minute. Bring it on in, bring it on in.
Yeah, we need people to respect the testimony, and please, if you need to talk, please take it outside.
Okay, I was born in Los Angeles, California, East Los Angeles, West Covina, and spent most of my life there. I never really left the Southwest. I never seen anything before the military. And how I grew up, well, first of all, you know, I'm in IVAW now, and a lot of people, you know, they say, oh, well, you were in Iraq, but, you know, you're against the war. Isn't this a voluntary army? You know, how come you're against the war if you volunteered to go? And, you know, there's not a draft. But right now there isn't a draft, but there's a lot of different circumstances that can bring somebody into the military. And one of them is the economic draft, and I feel like I was part of that. Growing up, my mother was an immigrant from Mexico, and my father didn't graduate high school, had to work a lot and stuff. I grew up in a pretty poor family, and I really joined the military just to get some money for college and just to get out of the situation I was in, living over there in Southern California in LA. Before I went in, when I was in high school and stuff, I was thinking about what I was going to do when I got out of high school, and I didn't know what to do at all. And I had talked to my sister, and she had told me that the military, she had a friend who had a husband that was in the military, and they had everything provided for him, and that it was pretty good. It was a pretty good deal. And I mean, my father didn't graduate from high school. My mother's been working all her life, and just to let you know, like how it is with my family. Living on the streets of LA, started getting into drugs and gangs and doing all sorts of stupid shit that I probably shouldn't have been doing. And my father got hooked on drugs. He got hooked on methamphetamine, and he went crazy. He's this paranoid schizophrenic, and just like and his brother is an alcoholic, died of that. And my dad lost his brain to drugs, and my sister started getting on drugs and started getting into gangs, and she got killed in the street. She didn't survive the streets of LA, and she got shot. And so I mean, this was the type of odds that I was facing, you know. And then my cousin that I grew up with, he's in jail for life now. So I just really felt like, to me, I just really needed to make it out of that situation, because I felt like there was no hope for me there, that I was just going to either end up dead like my sister, or in jail like my cousin, or on drugs like my dad. And I was on drugs before I went in. I actually was in a drug raid, and I was at a house that was known for selling meth, and the cops came in and busted it up. Luckily, I lied my ass off and got out of it, so that wasn't on my record. But I signed up before 9/11, and the terrorist attacks happened in 9/11, but I was already had my boot camp date to go, and I figured that, you know, whoever had done that was just going to be caught quickly, and our military would fix the problem and it would be over with, and I wouldn't probably see too much action. I had no idea the Iraq War was coming at all. This was, you know, December of 2001. So I went in. I wanted to get the GI Bill. I wanted to go to school. It's what I'm doing right now. I'm on the GI Bill. They're paying me to be in Spain studying Spanish. And so I went into the military, and for the first 2 years that I was in the Air Force, actually, I couldn't get deployed because of they didn't trust me with secret information, or I don't know, something like that. I couldn't leave the country because of I had like a curfew ticket, a drunk in public, and like I had smoked marijuana, so they didn't want to send me anywhere. So for the first 2 years of my military, I sat behind a desk answering phones in the front of the squadron, and which was a job for an officer, but they put me in there because they didn't know what to do with me, because everybody was going to Afghanistan and they wouldn't send me over there. Well, actually, they were based out of Pakistan. So my job in the Air Force, I was a loadmaster on C-130 Hercules planes. I don't know if any of you know what those are, but if you can just picture a big trash can flying in the air with propellers, it's pretty much what it is. It's a really uncomfortable ride. But that was my job, to be on those planes moving cargo around. But most of the time I was answering phones or throwing sandbags out of the back of the plane trying to hit targets for training. And the Iraq War started to pop off, you know, in 2003, and they were needing more troops on the ground. They were needing more people to do more missions, because now we had two wars going on. We have Afghanistan going on, and we have Iraq going on. And so they sent some investigators over to talk to me and investigate me, ask me questions, you know, about the ticket, the drunken public, smoking weed, stuff like that. And I lied my ass off like I did the cops in that raid. And so they said, okay, you're okay. Well, they didn't tell me right then, but I got word that I was okay to go ahead and be deployed like a week or two later. They said, yeah, he's good. He can go off and fight in the war. So the first deployment that I went on was I got deployed 4 times in my whole Air Force career. Twice to the theater of Afghanistan and twice to the theater of Iraq. The first time they sent me over to Afghanistan, and then, you know, then we were doing missions over there, usually moving cargo around, moving troops, moving security forces that had a bunch of Afghani people that they recruited to be part of our army and go look for the bad guys or whatever. Doing missions like that, and then things started escalating more in Iraq, and so they forward deployed us, which really sucked, because then we had to gather up all our stuff, clear our tent, and put everything back in the plane, and then move over to Qatar, to Al Udeid, and set up shop again. And so that was the first deployment. And then I went again to Qatar, to Al Udeid in the summer of 2004. 2004. And doing some missions, moving around, just troops mostly, into and out of places like Baghdad, Mosul, Tikrit, Talil, things like that. And then I got deployed again over to Kyrgyzstan again. And I mean, it was, I had noticed, it was weird, because at first in Kyrgyzstan, when we were first there, they would actually let us leave the base and like go and drink and have fun and party and stuff. But then the second time I got there, because the Iraq War had started, more terrorists groups, whatever, started popping up around Kyrgyzstan and Afghanistan and Uzbekistan. And so we were stuck on the base, and we had to walk back and forth to the chow hall with helmets on and flak vests and everything, because some people had tried to throw a grenade over the fence one time. And it was just weird, because, you know, we're supposed to be over, the military says we're going to be over there stopping terrorism and all this, but really it's just uprooting more resistance towards our military. And, I guess I'll get into what I'm going to speak about. I'm going to speak about racism and dehumanization that happens in the military. Specifically about missions that the mission that I had done on my last deployment, moving prisoners people that were detained prisoners from Baghdad to Basra. And as you heard from Chris before, Chris Arendt was talking about how in Abu Ghraib or in Guantanamo Bay, people are getting tortured. And, you know, you see on the news, and the military tells you that, you know, these people, these Middle Eastern people are all terrorists. They're hajis, they're ragheads, they're less than human, they're less than you. And a lot of that is they're breeding a lot of racism into the military, and what that does is it makes you see your enemy as not human. It dehumanizes them.